Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and this very special opportunity that we have here today to honor the official move into the American Athletic Conference. July 1st has become an important date for so many institutions over the past decade plus because it's that marker of change. And here on July 1st, 2023, there are 6 schools entering in the American Athletic Conference, one of them being UTSA, the University of Texas San Antonio Roadrunners are speeding into the American Athletic Conference, and Vice President for Intercollegiate Athletics, Lisa Campos, has been a mainstay of the last 2 years on the broadcast, and she is here with me today. Lisa, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely. And seeing that backdrop behind you and like the what that picture probably looked like when it was taken and just that beauty of it, I more and more when I hear about the Roadrunners, when you and I talk, because you always bring the positivity and you speak about UTSA and all the special things to offer, and then I see that backdrop and I say to myself, why am I not having a nice ice cold beverage at the University of Texas San Antonio right now?
That's right. When are you going to come visit? Come on out.
I know I gotta make my way down there, which I will, and I'm excited. It would be my first trip to San Antonio.
Ah, well, we'll show you all around. There's a lot of big news, not just with UTSA and the American, but also we got the #1 draft pick and, with the Spurs. So lots going on here in San Antonio.
Yeah, Victor Wembanyama. So very excited to see. And the last time the San Antonio Spurs drafted a center, #1 overall, David Robinson, champion, Tim Duncan,
Right.
champion, Victor Wembanyama, a lot of people are hoping also a champion. So I've seen Dallas, I've seen Arlington, I've seen, where else have I seen? Dallas, Arlington, I have seen one other place that's escaping. Did I see some of Fort Worth? I saw Fort Worth, and I've seen Houston. So what makes San Antonio so different from other parts of Texas?
Oh, that's a great question. Not spending a lot of time in those areas. What I can speak to is San Antonio. It's the people. We are the 7th largest city in the nation, but it is a small town feel. It's the familia, the multicultural heritage here in San Antonio. It's the support of our sport teams like the Spurs and UTSA Athletics. But really, when it comes down to it, we have incredible folks, incredible leaders in this community, incredible supporters, and then great food.
And that's the thing is I hear about it. So I had suggested to the American Athletic Conference, because I've known Chuck Sullivan for a while, that I have a menu that I would like for the American summer kickoff, that I have a barbecue menu of different things, corn on the cob, but like street corn and whatnot. So if I'm in San Antonio, I think we might have talked a little bit about this before, but what food am I getting in San Antonio that you feel like is just the best? If I'm going in the barbecue region, what am I getting?
Oh, that's a great question. So barbecue specific, you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, it could be the street corn, it can just be the brisket. I mean, it's all of it. And there's so many great places here. So come on down, come visit us.
Talking about food in the studio, it always makes me hungry. I always talk in the studio when I'm starving. So I don't know why I do it. It's like a punishment. You know what? It's my fasting. That's what it is. It's me learning through the fast. So I'm wearing a shirt that has the word respect on it. When it comes to UTSA, building respect, earning respect, what can you say about RESPECT when it comes to our Roadrunners?
You know what? We're going to be the new kids on the block, but I think that what we've done over the last few years, that there has been a lot of respect built for, particularly for our football program. But you look at our other programs, and we're having a lot of program first, right? Our baseball team, first time to be ranked in the top 25 in the nation, winning back-to-back conference championships in football. Our men's tennis program going to NCAA postseason for the first time in history. Women's golf winning the regional championship in our individual player. So a lot of firsts happening with all of our programs, or with many of our programs. And so I think it is building that RESPCT for sure.
And you and I have spoken about Jeff Traylor before, and locking up your head coach in a long-term contract, and just the fact that you see eye to eye and there's that connection and that feel when spending so much time speaking on Jeff and what he's done with football and the success you've had there. I know you've mentioned some of the other sports and a bunch of firsts, but when we look at the portfolio of the Roadrunners coming into the American, what is there to truly be excited about when you look at your head coaches as a collective?
We have incredible head coaches, and you look at the experience that these coaches have, and again, starting with Jeff and the experience he has and the success that he's had in a short amount of time. But then you look at our women's basketball coach, Karen Aston, who was going to Final Fours, Elite Eights at University of Texas, and to get a caliber coach like her here. You look at Pat Hallmark, the work that he did at Rice and all the from national champions to regionals, all those sorts of successes, that we just have incredible people. We just hired a new women's softball coach in Van Studeman, and she was at Mississippi State and had a lot of success there, and she'll start in the American as a first year coach here at UTSA. And so, again, Sergey, our men's tennis coach, who was a first time head coach, and it's taken him he's built this over the last few years to have us have a national ranking. That we just have incredible coaches who are just working their tails off, supporting our student athletes, finding every competitive edge that they can find, and putting out a great product.
Yeah, I mean, and that excitement that you have of, like you said, these people, the caliber that you're bringing in, and the amount of success that they've had en route. What do you think is attracting them to UTSA, that they've had so much success elsewhere, but when it comes to the next chapter in their time as a coach, as a leader, why do you think that UTSA is so sellable?
I'm so sorry, my phone's ringing.
Oh, you're good.
You know what? Our coaches feel the excitement. They see the momentum. They know the upper trajectory of this university, of this athletics program. It's San Antonio. I mean, how can you not sell San Antonio? I think they recognize there are a lot of great things in place here for them to recruit and retain the best student athletes. And that's what it's about, right? Getting the best coaches, getting the best student athletes, retaining them. And there's so many positive things here in San Antonio, like I said, between the city support, the people who come out day in and day out to support us, the trajectory of our university. There are just so many positive things happening here at UTSA.
And here with this very special American Athletic Conference ushering in with Lisa Campos, the Vice President for Intercollegiate Athletics at UTSA. I ask you this every single time, but I have to know because it's important to me, and I now take it personally if anybody says it wrong. No more USTA, right? But I do have to tell you that the USTA, the headquarters, like down there in Orlando, that Lemoyne's men's tennis team advanced and went down to the USTA. So I got to have a connection to the USTA and UTSA at the same time, which was pretty special.
I love it. That was kind of fun when that was all happening. And then you look at what our tennis program did, and I think that the USTA was a little proud of being connected with UTSA.
Yeah, I mean, and you and I have spoken about it before. There's, what the Roadrunner symbolizes, and I know that there's everybody has certain hand signals and whatnot. So can you bring me into the creation of the hand signal for the Roadrunner, because I know you've done it in pictures before?
Absolutely. I don't know if you can see it in that screen, but you got the head and the tail, and we got our Roadrunners and our birds up.
And for you being named the Roadrunners, there's obviously, I grew up on the Warner Brothers cartoons, and we know that the Roadrunner was smart, witty, and extremely fast. So
absolutely,
when you look at UTSA as an institution, where do you see that wit, that intelligence, and the ability to, like you said, upward trajectory to be able to move at a quick pace in a positive direction?
Yeah, and I think the other attribute in a real Roadrunner, not the cartoon, is ferocious. That Roadrunners really are ferocious, and that's our coaches. That they're never going to give up. They're never going to have excuses. They're going to put their head down, and they're going to work. And the work ethic of our coaches, of our student athletes, of this community it's compares to nothing I've seen before. So I think, we really embrace those attributes. We want to be quick in our trajectory. We want to be ferocious. We want to persevere through a lot of things. And when we have a lot of growth ahead of us and a lot of opportunity. And again, it's just, I can't express how exciting of a time it is to be a Roadrunner right now.
We look at the American Athletic Conference, and when it was transitioning from the old Big East to the American, they were in Providence, Rhode Island. Our summer kickoffs for football were at Goat Island in Newport, and it was a Northeast conference. Now, when you look at the map, outside of having Temple in Pennsylvania and having Navy in Maryland, we see, almost every state right there in that like middle, from Texas all the way over to Florida. We see a lot of that representation, and no state more than the state of Texas. When you look at the American Athletic Conference, does it feel to you like a Southern Belt type of feel to it, a Southern region type of conference? Because you do have, a couple outliers, but there's so much dominance there that this conference has transitioned from its roots of being in the Northeast to being a, Southern middle to Southeast for a lot of their teams.
Absolutely. And a lot of places, from a donor perspective, that are going to be really fun to go visit. We get also just the regional, to stay in Texas and to be able to have 3 teams in the state of Texas that we'll still be able to compete with, to Tulane, Memphis. I mean, those are great places, and great institutions. So I think our fans are going to really relate to a lot of these schools. And then we're going to learn about some of the new ones, right? We're used to going to Florida. Now it's, with USF and going to Temple, that will be something new for me, going to Navy. So a lot of great opportunity and excitement.
And when we look at this schedule that we have now, the way that the schedule has been put together with these rivalries, we know that there's definitely a uniqueness to the football model for the American Athletic. They had done away with divisions inside of their conference earlier, but for 2023 through 2026, they're going to test something out for 4 years. And that's going to be that every single team, all 14 member institutions on the football side for the American Athletic, they're going to be able to face each other twice, once at home, once on the road, meaning that if someone stays at any one of the colleges or universities and gets an education, a degree at the end of it all, they will have played every team twice, and they will have played those teams at home and on the road. Just what that model means, and I know you alluded to it a little bit there, but just what it means for the student athlete experience.
Yeah, absolutely. The students want to play. They want to play up. They want to play great teams, and we're going to have an opportunity. And this is a tough league. It's going to be anyone's opportunity to compete for that championship. And our student athletes are really excited about the competition, the level of competition, to be on stage with some really historic programs. We're still very young. I haven't done the math, but we might be one of the youngest institutions and athletic programs in this new American. And so we're competing with a lot of years of history, and our students are really revved up to be on that stage.
And we already know that in the fall, I mean, we know for 2023, 24, 25, and 26, what your schedule is going to look like home and on the road in the conference. Just preparation wise, what that means to you to see exactly where you're going to be for the next 4 years.
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably more important to Jeff and his staff and strategy for that. For us, it's on the administrative level, just figuring out travel and figuring out how we engage our alumni in those areas, how we are the traveling party of our local supporters. But it is nice to know ahead of time what that's going to look like.
We know that there will be yearly rivalries, and some of these renewed and some of them continuing as Rice and UTSA are moving from Conference USA to the American Athletic at the same time. But knowing that you have that rivalry that's been put together between Rice and UTSA, and obviously, you, like you said, North Texas and SMU in the state of Texas are there with you as well. But when we saw all of these rivalries put together and these regional matchups set by the American, to have Rice and UTSA have a distinct signifier there annually just what you think that means and what you could say about Rice University and that connection.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as we were going through that, between North Texas, Rice, that there's been a lot of buildup with just any team in Texas. And the Rice obviously is such an incredible institution. And that football program just keeps getting better and better. And so we're excited about all those competitions, all those opponents, but being able to stay obviously in the state of Texas every year and playing those games is really important to us.
And North Texas also coming with you in this move of 6 institutions to the American Athletic, but SMU being a connection of old, to have now SMU in the fray here and to have the Dallas side of things, just what that does for UTSA.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, from not just from an athletics perspective, but from an institutional perspective, many of our students come from the state of Texas, and this is just going to provide more exposure, more brand recognition in the state of Texas. It's going to get us in markets that are really important to us. We have a lot of alum in all those areas, so being able to play in front of our alum is always important. So again, those Texas opponents are really important to us.
Lisa Campos here with me in this special welcoming into the American Athletic Conference officially. It's been almost 2 years since it was announced on my birthday, October 21st of 2021. So it was 2121. And I'm big on God showing me things through numbers. So from my birthday to now, what has this experience been like for you as you ramped up for where we stand today, where it all becomes official?
Yeah, I feel like it's all happened in the blink of an eye. That seems like it was so long ago, 2021, but we got to work right away, and our staff knows, we're not taking our foot off the gas, that we have a lot of growth and opportunity ahead of us. But there's just been so much excitement and anticipation. It didn't feel like July 1, 2023 was going to come this quickly, and our fan base is just so excited. You see, this week, in teasing out some of those things, the conference office, our institution, and you just see the pride and the excitement of not just our staff, our university, but all of our fans across the nation excited for this day to come.
Realignment has reared its head so many times. July 1st, like I said, has become a date that we all kind of look at and like, what's going to happen now? So for you, looking at the American and seeing what it has, and even with Houston and UCF and Cincinnati leaving, why do you believe in this conference? Why do you believe that this is going to shine a greater light than has ever arguably been shined before on UTSA?
Yeah, I think history repeats itself, right? And this has traditionally been the strongest conference in this level. And Commissioner Rusko has done an incredible job of having a vision for what this conference is going to be. And you see those 3 schools who have left and what they were able to accomplish in this in the opportunities it's provided for the rest of the schools in this league. So I think just a lot of credit to his leadership and to the staff about what they want this conference to be and the opportunities that it's going to afford us.
And for you, kind of in a closing note, Lisa, when you get to look at this personally and being a part of it, you've worked diligently to do a lot at UTSA, and representation, equality, people feeling that everyone has an opportunity. And, no matter who you are, where you come from, what your background is, that the American dream is that anyone can become exactly what they want to be. So with all the work that you put forward with that, I'd love for you to just share how this moment feels to be guiding as a leader with, I know, your team and the school in general, but for UTSA to do this, you have to be a part of it and get on board. And there's so many things that you've worked at to really try and be a voice for people. And I know that that's incredibly important to you. So I'd love for you to share it from that perspective.
Sure. You know what? It is so humbling to be in the ADC in this transition, but a lot of credit to Dr. Amy, to our CFO Veronica Salazar, to our provost Dr. Espy. I mean, they have have really supported this from day one. They've supported athletics. We can't do anything in a silo, and it takes a team. And I look at our coaches, all of our staff, that this all happened because they believed, and we put a vision in front of a lot of people, our fans, our donors, and they believe, and they continue to believe. We're not done. We want to be competitive in the American. We have a lot of opportunity ahead of us. But it is really humbling as once in a while when we have a moment to pause and celebrate and look back. It just brings joy to my heart, and it is humbling to be a part of all of this.
So what do you want to say to the world? If they don't know the Roadrunners, what should they know as of right now as an American Athletic Conference team?
I would say that we are, we're just a special community, and that we are hungry. We want to be a great representation of this conference, and we are just hungry and bold and ready for this move.
Coming from Lisa Campos, VP for Intercollegiate Athletics at UTSA, the Roadrunners. And as always, Lisa, I appreciate you spending some time with me here on Wake Up Call to tell your story.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you too.